This is First and 15th. We talk about inspiration, motivation, life-changing moments, and conquering fears. Twice a month, we have amazing guests popping through. So be sure to like, comment, subscribe, and share. Hello, everyone. It is April 1st, and welcome to the First and 15th. I'm your host, Karal Bush, and we are joined by my amazing friend. I am so honored to call you a friend, Tiffany L. Green. And so I'm going to have her tell us about who she is. But first off, it is the first day of National Fair Housing Awareness Month. And so it was so fitting to invite my friend that has an amazing story on as my April guest. So Tiffany, take it away.
Hello, everyone. My name is Tiffany Green. I am originally from Brooklyn, New York. So shout out to all my Brooklyn people out there. I am... I wear many hats, right? But one of the things that I wear proudly is that I have the opportunity of serving as a public servant for the federal government. That's one of my hats that I wear. And that's writing policies for the very same organization that housed me for over 34 years of my life. Last year, I successfully exited out of all programs related to that. And so I'm excited. I'm excited to just share everything that I do. Also, I have an organization. I founded a nonprofit organization called Empowered to Live, empowering youth and families to live a purpose-driven life. One of the programs that we launched in partnership with a local community college as well as a local network, an industry network, and that is called Project Guide, and is geared towards understanding and identifying desired employment. That is for youth ages 16 to 24, teaching them construction and skilled trades where they receive credentials, industry recognized credentials. So I'm excited about that. And last but not least, of course, well, before I get to that, the last but not least, I also have a for-profit organization. Is a coaching and consulting company called Women With Fortitude. We just launched our first product, our Be Fruitful Life Planner. And then also, last but not least, I am a full-time mom. I'm a single mom of one, my daughter Shania. So yes, many hats.
Yes. Have many hats. You are so busy, but yet you stay organized. Like, you are doing so much for the community, and so that's why it was no question about who to have on, because you are just doing so many things, and you are a true example of another thing where you come from. Make you not want to achieve more. So we're going to go ahead and jump right in. So Tiffany, so you already shared with us that that you were in housing for about 34 years. So just in Brooklyn. So I know you already shout out Brooklyn, but just tell us about how you grew up. I mean, also some of your experiences living in public housing.
Yeah. So I would say, you know what? When you're young, you're not worried about all the things that's going on, right? And my mother always provided a roof over our head. So shout out to my mom. Mom, I love you.
Yeah.
So she raised us in New York City public housing. Obviously, there's this crime we got to deal with, right? But there was always a sense of community. That's one thing I can rave about. We had this thing called Fort Greene Day. So everybody from Fort Greene knew it's time to come out, it's time to connect, it's time to party, represent your block, represent your neighborhood. It was always a sense of community. But then you realize when you look outside of that, some of the things, the barriers that you had to face with. And so one thing my mother wanted to do was move us out of the project living in New York City. And so that's what she did. She wound up moving out. And by moving out, although we still lived in subsidized housing, it seems like the neighborhoods we have more amenities, we have more access to better school opportunities. So as we transition, things begin to move and shape for us. So shout out to my mother. Most definitely, she began to just make some decisions that brighten our future. So yeah.
Right, definitely. So then, with do you think actually caused your mom to want to start to break a cycle of public housing? So I know that you moved, but like, what caused you think to actually want to even make that change?
I think it was more of a better of life, right? She wanted us to have more exposure to different things that's going to, expand our horizons, take us to new levels. And not only that, she wanted something different. My mother wanted something
Okay.
different, not just for her kids, but she wanted something different for herself, right?
Okay.
And so we could see the fruits of her labor, right? The fruits of her labor. I was first generation graduate because of it. My mother moved out. She wanted to move into the state of Maryland. She did a little pit stop in Pennsylvania, right? But then
Okay.
she transitioned to Maryland and made that her home. And, her fruits of her labor is that I was the first generation to graduate from college. But not only that, the first week that I went to school, my mother enrolled back to college. So it's like,
That is an amazing
yeah,
testimony
yeah,
of how a parent can also learn from their child. Yeah,
absolutely,
I always am aware that like even though we're moms and adults, we can always learn from our children. I
absolutely,
love that.
absolutely. It's like once I bust open the door, she bust open the door for me by creating the opportunities, right? For
Right.
me to thrive. Once I bust down that door, then she went ahead and she went in, and then not only she went in, my sister went in. I used to take my sister on college tours with me, so that was always fun. And now she's getting her PhD, and my mom is about to graduate with her bachelor's. So you see what happens when you make that decision to transition out and to move into better neighborhoods that offer better opportunities.
There is just so much right now that, okay, so my little eye right here is burning because I am emotional because I just love your story of how your mom knew that it was time to move, but then even more so, she didn't let her age stop her from going to college and then also from graduating. Like she may have had a setback, but she didn't stop, and that's a whole testament to your mom's willpower as well. I love that. But that was not I love that, Tiffany. So then okay. So then we we talking about the housing cycle um and then your mom moving. But then for you as a mom, why was it important for you to then also break that cycle even further?
Yeah. So I'm glad you asked that question, Carol. So I had to do it. I had to do it for my family, right? Once again, knocking down those doors so that others can walk through. And so I had to go through it, right? So I decided to enroll myself. I'm second generation living in HUD assisted homes, right? And so I wound up going into transitional housing. I will always talk about this with my friends. I'll be like, I need just a place where it's a safe haven. I'm able to thrive. I'm able to go back to school. And I was like, I just need 3 years in it. I just need 3 years. So then I found this transitional housing program. And from there, that's when I had access to affordable housing, right? And
Okay.
so at the time I wasn't working. I just became a new mom, a single mom at that. Just recently graduated with my bachelor's degree. So just a lot of changes that was happening. And so I took a year off. I took a year off to be mom, to be there for my daughter. And I also transitioned to the transitional housing program. And so it was important for me to really go through this and make things change for my family because I didn't want my daughter to go through the same cycle, right? So if my mom went through that cycle, then I was going through that cycle and I had to break that cycle so that it doesn't continue to carry on, right? And so because of it, I'm now a homeowner, right? I'm now a homeowner. I'm off
Yeah.
of all HUD assisted housing. I'm no longer on any public subsidized programs. Financially, when we talk about self-sufficiency, I live in the definition of self-sufficiency, and
Yeah.
because of that,
You
we
have.
see, the fruits of that labor. My daughter has her own business, so it's a lot, right? That comes from that. So you got to break it so that your children don't have to be faced with that. Now they have other things that they will go through, and housing won't be one.
It's a whole mindset
It is.
shift. And I know firsthand that there were so many families, whether you're black or white, race, it's not important, but there are so many families who are in this cycle of public housing from from the grandmother, their mother, their aunt or so, but then they don't even think beyond those walls and those barriers, but because they don't even see that they can do so much more than live where they are. And so I definitely commend your mother for even having the mindset to see past
Yeah.
herself, see past her children, and to see to their own children, hence your daughter, and to just like to start this like to start the mindset shift of let me be better for my kids and then for their kids and then for theirs as well, which are not here yet.
Yeah.
It's not here yet. No, not
No, they're not here yet, honey. I'm not ready to
no.
call grandma.
But not yet, not yet. Let's give that some more time. We call great about to finish. Same for me to give some more time. But you mentioned your various nonprofits and programs. So just tell us about those one more time. You have the one for the
Yes.
youth, and you also have the one with construction. So tell us more about it again, real
Okay,
quick.
so the one for the youth is the construction and skill trades,
Mm.
where we teach youth construction and skill trades with a local community in partnership with a local community college. That was important to me to create because I see the need and also having access, right? So when you talk about affordability, when you talk about transitioning off and becoming self-sufficient, work has something to align with that, right? So we wanted to create something that will increase their economic mobility so that they can afford to the cost of living. And that's the thing, right? You have to be able to afford the cost of living when you're transitioning and living on your own, and so that's one. Another one that you might be talking of, and it's not with a nonprofit, but it's actually with my company, and that's a Rewire, and it stands
Yeah,
for Reaching and
let's
Empowering.
talk about that.
Yes, reaching and empowering women in real estate development. So one of the things that I left out was a part of my transition and getting to where I am now. It's like I had to begin to learn new things, right? So when you talked about shifting that mindset, I took more of a holistic approach, not just working on, going back to school, enhancing and increasing my skill sets, whether it be technical, whether it be soft skills. I really,
Right.
you had to heal the whole person, right? And I'm still going through healing, I'm still evolving as a person, but I didn't just say, I'm just going to treat this. I said, no, you have to look at, I did a personal needs assessment on myself. And I
Okay.
said, look,
I
you have
love
to
that.
heal all of this. And so one of the things that
You're
I do
self-aware.
was go back to school and get my master's. And while going to school and get my master's, I always was into real estate development, and I always wanted to create affordable housing, but I didn't have the resources to do so, obviously. So I was able to be a part of a real estate development program. Shout out to University of Baltimore, right? Where I was able,
Go do me.
yes, I was able to pitch for a competition, and I did a pitch for $1 million, where I was able to create affordable home ownership options in the city of Baltimore. And so there, representation matters, right? And so it's not a lot of Black women. It's not a lot of women.
Right.
And then add
Period.
Black to it as a real estate developer, and actually is a visionary, in building. And so one thing that I wanted to do was create a coaching program that will give them the information that they need to be successful, right? And walk them through real estate projects. So I created this coaching program called Rewire, Reaching and Empowering Women in Real Estate Development. And so since then, I have clients, honey, is growing.
Yeah.
So,
You
that is
gotta start
something I
somewhere.
enjoy.
I love that. So then, with your programs, so they just based in Maryland, or do you have a way that they are a virtual program too, or is it just here in
So
Maryland?
I would say it's just here in Maryland for now. We're focused on
Okay.
the city of Baltimore. So women who are interested in developing the city of Baltimore, that's where I got started. And so that's where
Right.
I want to work. That city is I hold near and dear to my heart. It is so much potential there. And so I'm only
Yeah.
in the state of Maryland that is interested in developing houses in the city of Baltimore.
I love it, Tiffany. Like your whole mindset and your mentality. Okay, so we met in what, 2021.
Mm-hmm.
And so I knew immediately that you were someone who just had this energy, this aura of just greatness. And I didn't know what your story was at the time because I just met you. But I have always just been enthralled with your energy, with just your zest for helping others. And so I don't ever want you to stop doing that. Don't ever
I
stop doing
want it.
it.
I want. Oh, and hey, I see my daughter logged in. Hey, girl. Hey.
Yes. Hello, Shania. Thank you for joining in and supporting your beautiful, wonderful mother. If there is someone, whether it's a man or a woman, who wants to get into this kind of environment of real estate development and those kind of programs, what advice would you give them?
I would say really before making the decision to get into this program, I would really do, like I mentioned earlier, do a needs assessment, a personal needs assessment on yourself. Really figure out if this is something you're interested in, want to get into, right? This is not an easy industry to navigate, right? And then once you enter into this field, you really have to understand what's your development concept. What are you doing it for? What's the usage of your property, right? So many people say, well, I want to, create affordable housing, or I want to have mixed use projects, or I want to do a storefront, or I want to do rent, I want to purchase and hold and have rental property. It's so many different things. I say for your first project, try to simplify it. Don't make it so complex to where you don't actually complete it. Get something
Good point. Because people start these projects and then they either don't have enough money, they get burned out, and either it just sits for various reasons. So yes, that is a fantastic piece of advice. So start small and then grow. It's like, go ahead.
Yeah, so once you start small and simplify it, right? Nothing complex. Then you want to make sure that project is actually feasible. They said you could write it on a napkin, do the math on a napkin. If you can't do the math on a napkin, then baby, that's not the project for you, okay? So you want to, before you even make any move, you want to make sure that it's feasible. People tend to fall in love with the project and fall in love with the property without really thinking through and seeing if the math is not, if it's not mathing, then don't do it, okay?
Right, because you got to know your numbers. Numbers are important.
What you say, Karal?
Numbers are important. You must know your numbers.
Definitely. And then the last thing, I'm going to leave a little nugget with you, is to connect with a financial institution, right, that is going to help you gain capital, help you have access to capital, because the capital is what you need to actually move the project through. And you may not have the 20%, but there's ways that you can raise the 20% where you don't even have to use your money. So you have to start thinking outside the box and get creative.
I love that. Those are three awesome tips that I would definitely put in our video recap. That way folks know 3 tips. 1, 2, 3. Tiffany is living proof. She has followed these steps. She will not give advice that she has not done herself. That's not how you are. So I love this. We've covered your history, your background, your various for-profit, nonprofits, but do you want to share anything else about what you have going on and about who you are as well before we wrap up?
Yeah. So I'm just so excited for this year. It's just new things. Like I mentioned before, we have the Be Fruitful Life Planner. Ooh,
Yes. Please show it.
We had the
a little bit higher. A little bit higher. Okay.
The Be Fruitful Life Planner. We sold out of our first shipment, and so we have more coming up. So if you're thinking about giving holiday gifts such as Mother's Day, definitely check us out. We also have the garden party coming up. I'll Be Fruitful garden party. Karal was there last year.
Yes, I I will definitely be there again this year because let me tell you, that was an amazing inaugural event. And so I am definitely urging you and nudging you to bring it outside of your county eventually, maybe like the next couple of years. Come on elsewhere in Maryland so I
I
can
hear you,
so
Carol.
you
I
can
hear you.
share all this knowledge.
I hear you loud and clear, girl. I keep getting some messages about that, so we'll see.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll see. When the time is right. Yeah, when it's right
Yes.
time. Wonderful.
I'm just excited, Carol. I'm excited just to see where I came from, just to
Mhm.
see where I'm at now. I just want people to know out there that it's possible. It is possible, no matter what your upbringing is, you can overcome it.
Mhm.
You can achieve your goals, set your goals, achieve them. And yeah, that's how I see
Yeah.
it.
I have thoroughly enjoyed our conversation with my friend Tiffany Green, I'm also with the planner. This planner does not have a date. That way, you can use it this year, you can use it next year, you can give the gift in the future as well. So, like some planners that we know have a certain date. So this one it was made purposely to be undated. That way, you can use it
Yeah,
for more than just like January through December. I love it,
without
Tiffany. So we have learned so.
without
Huh?
wasting money,
What is that?
without wasting paper.
Yeah, yes. We have learned so much, and I'm definitely looking forward to all of the activities you have going on, all of your growth in your field, and just you growing as you give back to your community because you honestly are so selfless. You give of yourself without question. Now, people have boundaries, I know, which is normal, but you still are so
Yeah.
giving. And so you have an amazing spirit. And so I am just so grateful that we met. That was one of the best
Thank
parts of that, of that year was meeting
Yes.
you. And so,
And Carol,
so
I hope you know that you're dope. This platform is amazing. Like you are doing great things. I see you shining, girl. You are shining, and you just plowing through, and you are making a way, and everybody see you. See you
thank you,
like
Tiffany. I appreciate that. So, yes, I appreciate that. And so I definitely want to thank everyone for joining us as we heard from Tiffany Green. And as a reminder, it is April 1st, first day of National Fair Housing Awareness Month. And so I know that fair housing may be subjective based on what people have experienced. And so we're not here to judge fair housing. I'm not here to judge housing, but we do encourage you all to read up on your own about housing policy in just ways that maybe you can make a difference as well, whether you're in Maryland or somewhere else. So thank you all again, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.